Hello, collective. Welcome to the channel. It is August 2nd, 2025. Jeez, we're already halfway through the year. Coming up on the Day of Love, Tubav, and the Sunflower Festival should be happening soon. The time is 7:36 a.m. And I'm glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. Let's check right in, see what storyline Spirit would like to share with us. Collective energy, please, Spirit. Collective energy, what storyline would you like to share with the collective, please? Storyline for the collective. What would you like the collective to know, please? Please and thank you. Justice. The Hierophant, justice, they know the truth about Queen of Swords is pulling forth the truth. So justice is happening. Most High God, He knows the truth regarding the Divine Feminine. He's in their heads. He knows their stories. He knows everything that has happened throughout centuries. Irrefutable evidence, first-hand testimony. What's in the central position, please, Spirit? Central position. 9 of Cups. A wish come true for you. A life of luxury is coming, and I've heard this curator and his masculine parasitical friends complaining about how the feminine is coming into a life of luxury. Well, you've earned it. You're the one who suffered for it. You're the one who held yourself together without going to war. You're the one who remained meek and nurturing, even to those who were abusing you. In the challenge position, the 3 of Wands, enterprise, some sort of an expansion. An expansion of the idea. So there are changes happening now regarding lots of stuff. Politics, religion, the concept regarding roles of men and women, and how the children have been cared for, you know, the food pyramid, the healthcare system, all of that. Everything's changing now. So there's an enterprise, there's an expansion of the idea of this shift in the subconscious. Oops. Well. High Priestesses making difficult decisions, connected to the divine, the source divine. She's got her swords up. She's protected. Nobody shall cross. There's lots of stuff happening here. Somebody wants to avoid the High Priestess. There's a settling of the energy regarding union. There's new stuff happening. It's like in a couple of reads back. So these priests who have been marrying people, they've been committing all kinds of fraud and brutality through contracts of these sorts. So there's new contracts. Thieves will no longer be given a marriage contract with a sweetheart. It just isn't going to happen, because the sweetheart doesn't deserve that brutality or to be stolen from in such a way while being intimate with their abuser. I mean, this is stupid. In the recent past, Five of Pentacles. Somebody has lost everything. You're getting it. You're getting a wish come true. You got 9 cups here. Somebody's lost everything. because you're leaving, because you left, because you walked away. They fumbled you. In their own words, this curator and the collective of these masculines who have been abusing the high priestesses, they fumbled you. And that's not what happened. What happened was the Most High God and family said this is the end of their relationship with batteries. They've been drawing off the sacred wisdom, the sacred energy, and the gifts of this high priestess. All of the high priestesses, they've targeted them horribly. So the divine, the Most High God said, this is it for them. They didn't fumble her. They had her taken away. The star. They're in a Five of Pentacles because you've received a new life, a new rejuvenation. You're the healer. You're the high priestess freaking star. You're the rejuvenator. You're the one that transmutes that. You transmute death energy. You bring life to people. You heal sadness, sickness with your divine wisdom and connections, and they hijacked your mind and claimed it for their own. And these masculines will brutalize the feminines while wearing their energy, using their gifts. Dressing up in their starlight, calling themselves women, having freaking male sex orgies or whatever. I need to light another sage. Freaking nasty. Freaking nasty. This morning I woke up and heard a masculine. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. You know why he's doing that? Because he's in a Five of Pentacles. For RAPing the mind and the life and every good thing that was presented to him in a high priestess star. Jerk. And now he's in fear. He's in fear of all the illusions that he's caused. He lied. He was the most vicious while presenting himself as the most pure. The lens that's being looked through is you persevered through the challenges. Your boundaries are firm. You're right there saying, get off my hill. Get off my damn hill. Get out of my house. Stop messing around. Sick of it. Judgment. Calling judgment. How dare they dress up in the light and the wisdom and the connections and using the mind of this beautiful divine feminine, dressing all up in her energy and then walking around as though he was this sweet high priestess star, while she was on the floor hand sweeping crumbs that he had spilt while enjoying his beautiful meal with his haul. A-hole. Hopes and fears. I don't want to hear your song about your changes, man. I'm not going to be involved, and I don't think any of these other ones want to be involved in that either. Go fix yourself. We tried to fix you. We tried to help you, and we ate shit for it, and we're done. You got your boundaries up. You're calling judgment. Your boundaries are up. Your boundaries are freaking up. This is what is on the either side of judgment. Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. She's like here, and she's so she's providing financially this support. She's connected. This Queen of Pentacles is connected to a powerful protective force for these divine stars. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. This isn't your average Queen of Pentacles. The outgoing energy, regret and failure. And now they want to come back. They want to pull up. See that little boy or the girl that's been stuffed down into the feet of the body that they're wearing, this parasite. They reach down in there and they pull up the innocence and the purity and the pain and the, oh my God, of the child that they had unalived in order to obtain the vessel. Yeah, these ones are now they're sad and they're going to change their ways. Well, bullshit. You're not going to change your ways. You're a freaking destiny thief, a life stealer, a tormentor of purity and goodness. And it's over. It's over, man. They failed. It's over. They're in regret. The cycle is complete. Your days of enjoying the presence of High Priestess stars are over. You will not benefit any further. Why? Because she is love and she's getting that 10 of Pentacles. You're giving it all back. Everything you took, every life you took, every fortune you stole, every house you lived in, every land you purchased, every car, every plane, every whatever, doesn't matter. Every light source that you stuffed into darkness so that you could claim a portion of it, yeah, that's coming back too. This is a completion of the 10 of Wands burden that you have laid upon the community. Your days of laying this horrific, violent betrayal and burden upon the community is over. They have been freed from the yoke of you. You're getting disconnected from love for what you have done in the history to it. Your foundation is in a tower. You're losing everything. Every damn thing is being taken from you because you aren't even you. You should have died centuries ago, vampire. The Empress she's out of here, man. She doesn't owe you a damn thing. How many lives of Empresses have you stolen and then dressed up in and presented yourself as a beautiful queen or whatever while you're out there having orgies with your men friends? It's sickening. You're out of here. She's out of here. Whatever. Your days of dealing with the Empress, High Priestess star are over. And she's got a protectress here to make certain that your passionate little self is kept out of her unions. And look, they still come in here planning on doing magic and trickery. So yeah, you got to keep your wits about you. Use your discernment. Don't jump into anything too soon because you've got some parasites out here that are desperate for a vessel. They're desperate for a connection to an Empress, High Priestess star. And they're coming in on the thoughts with the little boy or the little girl that's in the feet, that's buried in the bottom of this vessel that they're in, that they're being hosted in. They're going to come forward with that childlike nature, and they're going to appear as though they're innocent and vulnerable, and they need you. They're really good at it. And it's a desperate lie. It's a desperate lie. This is the only time they let the innocent pure one out, is when they need to tap into that innocent purity. That's when the sacrificed child gets to come out and speak a little bit and tell you how badly they need your help. But As soon as they tap into your energy, they get buried again, and then the monster comes back out. Again, regret. You're getting a wish come true. You're getting a life of satisfaction, a life of luxury. It is yours. It belongs to you. It always did, but you had some parasitical rapists out here who's decided that they were going to demand and command everything about you. Another thing that I woke up to was somebody saying they didn't think you were ever going to come back. So the Christed ones, they never thought that the Christ would rise. They never thought that that was going to happen, so they did whatever they needed to do to get along, to survive, or whatever. I don't know, man. But we got death. Your emotional stability and your wish come true is bringing an end to this cycle. It's over. You're entering a wish come true. There's a transformation happening here for the divine feminine. She carries and is connected to that Christ light. The heaven is within her. That's where life comes from. This beautiful heaven comes forth from the womb and the heart and the essence of the High Priestess Empress. The divine and sacred nurture that was gifted to try to raise these abusers, but instead they decided to step into the body and pretend that they were that. And what's so bad is that they go up and they present themselves to the divine as though they are this purity that they have ingested, and they've been getting away with it for centuries because nobody was able to lift up out of the torturous experiences that they were under. But you did. You did, and you brought an end to this. So we've got the Three of Wands and the Two of Wands here. Preparations for expansion. This idea, this shift, this mental shift is happening throughout the world. You're leaving home. You could be making travel plans. You may need to have a different residence. There may be a relocation. You may actually be exiting out of this particular universe. Apparently, there are multiple or limitless universes out there. And the divine, Most High God, has authority over all of that, and people are going to be allocated or relocated to their match. You know, what did you decide to be? What did you decide to do? Okay, you want a world of violence? Okay, to a world of violence you shall go. And that's just the way that it always goes. And the thing about it is that the one who's in charge isn't emotional about it. It's just the circumstance. There's no reason to get emotional about it. And then that song, King of Pain, I'll always be King of Pain. Now, I don't know. King of Pain, you know, and I listen to that song, and it's like the dead things, you know, it's like the pain, like when an animal dies, or when, you know, a forest gets whacked down, or whenever there's anything like that. It's like the King of Pain, and it's like this Christed being experiences it all. I don't know how they hold them. They've got to be like massively, way high dimensional being in order to encompass this type of suffering and then judge it without emotion, you know, and without any kind of malice. It's wild to me. So anyway, he's here, and the family divine is here, and this divine mother, protectress is here. All of the big hitters are here. And these guys, they thought they were the big hitter. They thought they were it because they could brutalize women and children and then create illusions, you know, commanding their mind and their energy, and they found out otherwise. So don't be surprised if they come forward, pulling forward that innocent child that they have attached themselves to try to get to your emotional need for nurturing innocence, okay? It's a manipulation. Somebody wants to avoid this high priestess. There's difficult decisions being made by the high priestess on behalf of the high priestess. And the Ace of Pentacles, the abundance. It could be that they're being told to avoid, like do not get near that high priestess or any portion of her abundance. Stay clear of it. Warning, death. Your wish come true. This is the end of this cycle. This is an end of that abuse. Or that somebody's in a Five of Pentacles here. They're losing everything. And the wheel has turned. So they've lost everything and they're entering into a new cycle. They know that you are being rejuvenated. You're the star. They've lost you. They've lost the stars. They've lost their batteries. They've lost their supply. These arrogant masculines prancing around in these ones too, you know, dressing up in their suits like this general or whatever in the freaking military. That masculine that's always presenting in a freaking dress or a skirt or whatever with all their little awards and their prizes and stuff pinned to their thing. I'm like, wow. I wonder what high priestess energy that jackwagon is dressed up in. So the star is here with an Ace of Wands. There's rejuvenation and a lot of new opportunities. So there's a new beginning here for the light-bearing people, for the Christed beings, for the family of the Most High God. Those who were sent here to help the people, but instead were tortured and brutalized. They were treated as though they owed a debt to villainous, low-vibing people. They said, you owe us a decent life. We're going to take it from you. When you were here to offer it lovingly. So now they're in fear. The moon is here. They don't know what the heck is happening. There's expansion. They're afraid of this expansion here. There's a moving forward. Three of Wands, definitely moving forward, reconciled. You have been located, claimed, you are protected, and these ones are receiving the wrath for what they've done throughout the centuries to you. They've tortured you. You may not even remember, but you have been tortured in lifetimes past, brutalized horrifically. It may be why you feel as though you've been fragmented. It may be why you're not connected to your spiritual, your dream self like you should be. They did everything they could to shatter you, to break you apart, to destroy your soul and connection with the Most High, because they wanted to claim the gifts that were in you as their own, and they needed you to be separated from it. But you persevered through severe tragedy. You're still in control of yourself, and now you got help. You never relinquished your soul and the wisdom and everything that is embedded there. They're afraid. They're afraid of you because you persevered. You weren't supposed to. This was an impossible life path that they had you on. This impossible life path. And you pulled up out of it. And then all of you relayed your personal first-hand testimony of what had been happening to you while they had you buried and separated and stifled, dressed up in your energy and your mind, and then pretending that they were you in that conversation or connection. The truth is seen. Judgment is being called. You're protected. They're in fear. They're afraid of your protection. They should be. Judgment is being called. You're getting a brand new beginning. You're innocent. We're starting over. Their circle of life, which wasn't really life because they were just feeding like vampires. They were just consuming. They weren't creating anything. They weren't growing anything. They weren't manifesting anything of benefit. They weren't adding or contributing anything good. They were just consuming like a mad freaking parasite out of control. And everything suffered. I guess at some point it becomes really obvious that something's off. When the High Priestess Empress, the Divine Mother Star, who is here to bring life and rejuvenate everything and bring it to health and balance and this beautiful, sacred, connected, space, it becomes really obvious at a point that something's wrong because all of them can't be shit. All of them can't be acting like this. Yep, so you know what? Judgment is being called. You're getting a new beginning. We've got the 9 of Wands here. So there's courage and resilience for this Queen of Pentacles. She's delivering justice. This Divine Mother is kicking their ass for what they did to her babies. They had them sleeping at their feet like dogs. Beautiful, sweet virgins sleeping at the feet, terrified like a dog. Whom I love, by the way. Canines are one of my most favorite people. So now they're in regret because this cycle is over. This is the completion of this horrific little joy fest they've been having. The Emperor is here. The true Divine Masculine. Most likely the husband of that Empress, who could also be a High Priestess. You guys are screwed, man. And I don't have nothing to say. Stay away from me. Don't reach in and tell me how you're going to change and be a sweet boy, okay? Because that's a lie and I know it. There's been a lot of hard work and routine regarding this High Priestess. There could be a protective group that has been working to free the High Priestess. There's going to be new love for this star. And it's going to be a love that you can count on because all of this lying, cheating, stealing, conniving, evil-hearted, black soul, no soul, stolen soul, whatever, all that's going away. There are limitless universes, and every one of these people belongs somewhere in that, but you're not going to be where they are. Never again will they ever have access to what is in you, to what you are. They're going to have to become it if they want it. Everybody that has been working here on this, they're leaving. This is a completion of that cycle. The judgment is they get a new beginning. And those who have been bringing trickery and fraud are getting a 10 of Wands burden. They're gonna live the impossible path that they have forced upon the collective. And somewhere in the Bible it says, there will be days when they wish that they could die and they won't be able to. They have to live the impossible path and they have to suffer. And unfortunately for them, it's probably going to be greater because of the magnitude and the quantity over the centuries. They'll never make it out. This is eternity. They've made their choice. They did their best to destroy the Divine Mother, living in these high priestesses and empresses. And now Divine Mother is here delivering justice, and she's supported by the Emperor. She's supported by the Most High. And this huge family, this is universal, multiversal. I know that it was so bad for me, man. And I had been praying for so long. I mean, I was mentally RAP'd for over 20 years. It was thousands of people calling me a prostitute, calling me a bitch, telling me how they were going to, drain me of my fluids and torture, all this stuff. It was horrid. They'd cause me accidents, cause me need to find a different place to live, cause me a need to get a job, cause me weight gain, to lose my teeth, to have my brother or whoever to turn on me. All this bad stuff that you've all experienced too. It was horrid. And when I was praying, it's like I was praying for like the first, 15 years, whatever. I'm like praying. And then I'm like, okay, well, hello, multiverse, edges of the multiverse as far as I can go. Limitless. Where are you? You're out here somewhere. You've got to be. And so I started reaching further. I had to get through the interference. So I had to push through it in order to get to the edges of the multiverse and call in the family. Now, I'm sure many of you probably did the same. And maybe that was just what I was doing, and I don't even know if it was effective, but I think it was, because there's no space or time or distance or none of that with the mind. You are in all places at all times if you can get beyond the interferences of this cyberware and stuff that had been attacking the consciousness of the people. And this malicious magic, mental warfare. Well, somebody out here is the king of pain. He can swallow it like it's freaking candy. He's connected to every star. He sees every story, every tragedy, every trauma, every torturous event. He can be present with it and the energy of it without flipping out and going psycho. Now, they call him a sociopath, but how can you? And that's only because he's very methodical. He's not emotional. It's like, dude, this is what you did. This is what needs to happen to make it right. And it's going to happen. And unfortunately, sometimes that's severely brutal, considering the history of these people. They did not know that the highest, brightest, strongest, most potent light could also, he's claiming it. He's claiming it. Any light that these malicious parasite vampiric entities have stolen, he is extracting it out of them. It doesn't belong to them, so he's claiming it. So you've got the hurt, the pain, the trauma, the torture, all that ickiness that just makes you want to shatter or combust or whatever. And then he's got this magnificent sun, light, power, white lightning stuff that kind of, it's brings balance to it somehow. I mean, this darkness, this king of pain, this darkness that he is presented with is also countered by this intense light. I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but it's massive and it's limitless. And this being is, you can't describe it. To describe it would put a box around it, and you can't put a box around limitless. But they thought they were giving you pain. They thought they were giving you pain. And what they were really doing was triggering a soul gift that brought expansion to the light. So the more pain they gave you, the more light you had to produce in order to be balanced and harmonized, as a high priestesses, empresses are. So it's like, and stars. So like the more darkness they made you swallow, the more death energy they put into you, the more black energy they stuffed into your solar plexus, the brighter your light had to become in order to live. And they said it was impossible, that you would never be able to overcome it, but you kept expanding in your light. You kept expanding in your happiness. You focused on the happy stuff. It's like, yeah, I know there's a whole lot of shit going on, and I got a whole bunch of men saying all these nasty things they're going to do while they're hurting my energy, while they're stabbing me with unseen implements, while they're, harvesting my sacral, from an unseen place that you can't stop. I mean, it's really invasive what they were doing. And everybody has their firsthand testimony, especially if they had a lot of torturous experience with this, then they sat with it, like myself, for over 20 years. And eventually you stop focusing on the pain of it and you just start focusing on, where does it hurt? What is the intensity? Is there anything that I can do to affect it in any way? Does it ever fluctuate? All these questions. And then you find out what you are and what is happening to you. And you don't claim it. It just becomes an event that you have to kind of manage and see if you can have an effect on in some way. But you're not a witch or a warlock. You're just out here connected to Source Divine, and you're pulling off of the knowledge of the soul, which is connected to Source Divine. And even though you may not be consciously aware of what you're doing and what you're actually going through in order to transmute this, alchemize this, whatever this is, you may not even been aware of exactly what was happening, but it was happening because it was coded into your soul. A language that these mental manipulators could not understand or even see. So we've got the Nine of Cups, a wish come true. This is an end of that cycle. You have grown in consciousness and awareness. You're making a transition. There is an expansion. And it's like, for me, the visualization was like, this really hurts. I mean, it was like big, bad, black energy. And it felt like a chemical. Like they were putting in a chemical. And the best analogy I can come up is with like a spider. You know how like a spider, I guess, will inject some kind of toxin and it will like dissolve stuff, and then they suck it up and drink it. And that was like, that for me, that was what it felt like they were doing. And they did that for 18 years. They did that to me while taking my life essence, and then they were dumping in this black energy into my solar plexus. So I'd always have to be transmuting this black, what felt like death energy. It was horrid. And you can't get mad. You can't holler about it. You have to be all 100% here to manage it and try to keep your heart and balanced so that you don't freaking go manic on everybody. The most extreme challenge. And you have to do it alone because society tells you that's not real. So while you're dealing with the intensity of this, you've got your family and everybody telling you that you've lost your mind, you're crazy, and they treat you very bad to support the pain of it. It's a manipulation all the way around. So, there is an enterprise. This is expanding overseas, the idea of this change, this energetic shift. And with this, you're going to see the collapse of the old system, the old financial, the health, the food, everything is going to collapse. And it's going to be scary. You should probably collect some supplies while you can to prepare for a few months or whatever while, there's a transition. There's going to be like some kind of a 0 point, and then it's going to start rebuilding. It's a spirit called it pest control, followed by restoration. And so you're making travel plans. You've been reconciled with the divine. This is happening worldwide. These high priestesses, empresses are all over the world. And they're coming into their purpose. These ones did their best to delay their purpose, to stifle their voice, to vilify and prostitute the mother of the world, who is here to bring the garden of peace and love and harmony and beauty and abundance and caring, and all they had to do was protect it. But they didn't want to, man. They had the easy job. All they had to do is protect it. We're coming into a time of peace. This negative energy is being released. So there's difficult decisions being made here on behalf of or by the high priestesses, which is source connected to the highest divine. She has this union, this connection. She's a star. So this is a star high priestess. She's intimately connected with the divine regarding this abundance. So there's a new venture here. We're starting new. We're starting new. The high priestess is manifesting abundance once more. See, the high priestesses, they manifest the abundance, but rather than protect the abundance, these ones wanted to claim it and say that it was theirs. And they would gain it through a contract. And then they would, so they would stifle the abundance. They would put a blockage on it, a limit on it. They would not let everybody enjoy it because they wanted to prance around and pretend like it was there because of them. And that they were in charge of allotting it. But the problem is they could only get a portion because they were putting blockages on her. So even with whatever they were able to steal from her, pull off her, claim off her, it was a very limited amount, and everything suffered. And not only that, they tried to destroy, harm. The one that was bringing life to everything, over time, they did their best to shatter her so that they could present themselves as the real thing. And it's wild to me, man. All they had to do was protect it. And they got so whacked in their head that they decided they were going to make this big freaking fiasco that everybody was shedding blood in war for. So now they're afraid. They're afraid, man. They're afraid of the high priestess being in their purpose because they are source connected to the Most High, and that information is what is being downloaded through the transmitter receiver of the divine and then output into the world. And these dominator tyrants don't want that. Because they haven't earned it. They did not do any work. They didn't protect. They didn't support. They didn't build. They didn't create. So now they get to experience poverty and insecurity, isolation and worry. They're going to be in a constant state of need, and nobody's going to be there to help them. Just like they weren't there to help you. You had to hold it together. And you know what? They weren't even there to help you with the children that they moved through you. They left you there to support that on your own, and then they vilified you, they slandered you, and they still didn't give you any assistance. They just piled burden upon you. And I heard a masculine in the unseen saying to one of his buddies, you know what I hate? I hate my kids. Sorry, I don't like this energy. It hurts, man. The wheel turns for limitless abundant beings. The High Priestess Empress Star, you're the limitless abundant being. The heaven is within you. It comes forth from you. When you plant those seeds, when you plant those trees, and you're not greedy, you're not about flash, very humble, moral, kind. These ones are being denied. They're receiving denial. They don't get to take part in it. The divine stated you'll never give it back. You will never give it back. They will not ever siphon off of you or enjoy the fruits of you anymore, ever. It's over. They will have to become that. So there's new opportunities for the star, the rejuvenator, the life giver. They get to move away from prideful people. You have grown. You're not prideful. You don't have to deal with people of pride. You no longer have to suffer their abuses and their cruelty. They're afraid because you're moving forward into a new opportunity of love, honesty, great gratitude, thankfulness, which is you. That's who you are. That's where the abundance comes from. All they had to do was protect it, man. Simple. But instead they chose to blame you for their own villainous perversions and disgusting, orgies and all this crap that they were really into. They liked to hurt things and hurt people, and they blamed you because they were in your energy. They were connected to you telepathically. They were commanding your consciousness. Many of you had your crowns wrapped in a fabric that was cursed or hexed or whatever. So they stole your communication, and they blamed you for everything they were doing in your energy. But you busted through that nastiness. You wiggled your way right up into the divine, and you're like, Daddy, what's going on? I mean, you got to tell, hey, Mama, Daddy, come on. Scream it out to the edges of the multiverse. Which universe are you in? Come on now. Can you hear me? Thank you. So you are protected. You're maintaining control. These people are afraid. We got the moon card and the moon card. You're in control over the illusion. You're in control over the illusion. There's no illusion anymore. They're afraid. They're afraid because they're a bunch of liars. All their lies are seen. And judgment is being called, and you're getting a new opportunity, a new adventure, a new life away from this. Away from this, because you were able to persevere. You did the impossible. You survived the most brutal cycle after cycle after cycle betrayal by these masculines. That spoke words of love to get you in and hooked, and then they turned brutal afterward, made your life hell. It's so wild to me that that's what they chose to do, rather than protect you and love you and be nurtured by you when you were this wealth. I mean, to think that one man could have had you and all that you are and built with you and had status that was real. Instead, they were loyal to this coven or these masculine, whatever the hell they are. I don't know, clique, some kind of a thing. They thought that was I don't know what they thought, man. I don't understand it. They could have had all of this, but instead they shared it with all of them and kept a portion. Called you a dime a dozen. There's no intelligence. They're prancing around like they're the most clever things ever, and there's no intelligence. They don't even know that having a pet in the home, someone to love, care for, and nurture is a good thing, and creates like happiness chemicals going off in the brain. And it teaches children how to be responsible and actually nurture something. It's a benefit, and yet they vilified it, hurt it so badly, thinking it an unnecessary presence in the world, you know? So, we've got the Nine of Wands here. There is a last stand. This is the final push. The Queen of Pentacles is here, the protectress. She is the protectress of what? Kings and queens. She's the protectress of a high priestess, empress, star. This is the protectress. She's delivering justice, the law of cause and effect. This is Divine Mother, perhaps, in one of her higher, greater aspects. These people are screwed. What they did to her babies is bad, and she's not happy. And she's not overly emotional about it. She's just like this this being here, the one that is here that's like beyond the essence of the sun. I don't know, man. She's here with that being, and they're delivering the law of cause and effect. It's like, this is what you did, and this is what you get back. And because you had so much fun, you're going to get it back times 10. It's just looking at these beings are so far advanced. They feel, and they feel greatly, and it's beautiful. It's the most magnificent. But they're also about business. and business is business. This is what you did to my baby, and this is what you got coming for you. And there's not going to be any emotional attachment. There's not going to be, oh, I promised to do better, Mommy. No. You're going to get justice. And it could be that they're being denied. Fairness is being restored. They are being denied. Justice is happening. Fairness is happening. The truth is out. Balance is being restored. There's clarity about everything. And these yo-yos are getting denied. They're a threat to society. They are a threat to every living thing. They feast and they gourd themselves. And then say that the high priestess and the empress, they're not capable of nurturing. While they toy with the energy, putrefying it, defiling it, while they run crap through the mind and say that's her. So they're in regret. They have failed. This is the completion of the cycle. The World card is here. The Emperor is here, and he's dealing with those people who are untrustworthy. This card says, I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. These people were led down a path of incoherence. They embraced it, and they put all of their stuff into it. In fact, many of them gave up their soul for it. They really believed in it. They're untrustworthy. They gave up their connection to the inner voice, the divine, and the Emperor is getting rid of them. That's it. He's dealing with them. They have to accept the things that they cannot change. They have been found guilty, and you, the empath, who brings happiness, are free. You don't have to accept anything that you cannot change, because those people who can change it are here doing so. You know, you're going to have friendship that is about peace. You know, there's not going to be any negative energy there. There's not going to be any secret agenda to stick a knife in you and steal your husband and your house or whatever. I mean, that's just not going to happen. You know, patience, everything happens in divine order. You who possess gifts of the soul that benefit yourself and others, you know this. You knew this, and you practiced patience, and you just let it go, and you let it go, and you did not become malice, no matter how much pain they put upon you. You did not seek vengeance, because the nurturing mother in you didn't allow it. You kept pouring in life to a system that was siphoning it out faster than you could pour it in. And it was because they were putting blockages on everything, and they weren't allowing you your full capacity, because they couldn't control you in that capacity. They had to shut you down in every way they could, and then they had to draw off of you, you know, in this limited supply. So now they're having doubt, because those who are bringing adversity to you are under judgment. And justice is being served. Service. Justice is being served. They're in grief. There will be a return to a loving state, a harmonious state, a happy state. You know, thankful for your health and well-being, the temple that enshrines your soul. I mean, they've done everything they could to toxify it, poison it. Not only with the energy and the black energy and the death energy and all of this other, you know, their filthy orgy, sex energy, all this perversions and blood rituals. They were wearing your energy, doing this kind of stuff in your energy so that you would be seen as it. And they did this over and over and over again. They shattered your mind and your heart and everything over and over and over again, thinking you would never, ever, ever put yourself back together and reconnect with Source and let them know what they have done here. It was impossible, they said. But you are disciplined. You can accomplish whatever you set your mind to, whether they break it in a million pieces over and over again or not. You're the star, the rejuvenator. eternally balanced and harmonious. No matter what is thrown at you, you work it, you if it's really, really dark, death energy, then you, whatever, you think is something happy, you do whatever you need to do in order to expand the light and the happiness of you, and you surround it. They thought if they put enough darkness on you, you would never be able to outshine it, but you kept expanding and surrounding it, transmuting it. This is over. This is over. They're facing death for what they have done. They don't know what to do. They're asking for forgiveness. Their apologies aren't true. It's just a manipulation mechanism, because that's all they are. They're worried about what they've done in the mind. They could be worried about being disconnected from the mind. They're losing their ability to have telepathy because of these abuses. There is a change in relationships. These relationships will serve the higher good of the two coming together, of that family and of the community. Those envious people, they need to surrender their need to control anything that you have going on. Any place that you are in, they cannot have anything to do with that. They're in regret. They did not realize that you were as strong and courageous as you were. They thought you were a woman? Shocked that the mother who breaks her own body and spills her own blood for hours and hours and hours to bring forth life was not strong enough to withstand this for some reason. They were delulu in the mind. They did not have the ability to comprehend the magnitude of a being that brings forth life. And they were not able to comprehend the soul connection to source of a being such as that. They could erase it from the mind. They could cover it up with pain. But the soul knows. As long as you keep your soul, there's that connection. These people are jerks, man. You overcame loneliness. You knew that you were never alone. You always had that soul connection. Even if you were suffering in this pain, you may have felt like you were alone. You may have cried long, lonely nights of tears, months or years. But you know that there's no greater gold than to love, and you imagined that somewhere out there somebody did love you. You knew that you were never alone, which is why they failed. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here. I hope this clarifies something that you already intuitively knew, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.